Matt, 20 years ago, GTA 3 came out on what was then PlayStation 2 and actually got me back into gaming, so I'm really excited about this.
Oh, nice. Okay. God, 20 years ago, that's absolutely nuts.
So what we have the GTA Definitive Edition. Sorry, Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy Definitive Edition.
Yeah, it's
there
a lot
was
of
a trilogy before, wasn't there?
Yes.
Like back on was it the Xbox? Like,
Yeah,
a long
possibly.
time ago?
Yeah.
Well, it was, because this is where I got the old last-gen footage from. So before
right.
we move on with all the games, I've done all the games and all the cutscenes, we're going to go through all the FPS. Obviously, the next-gen Definitive Edition have a Fidelity and Performance mode. For the most part, performance is 60, but it does dip to like 45. That's on all three of the versions.
Yeah.
And the Fidelity drops to like 29 very occasionally.
Okay. You're still talking more stable than the original in most places.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah?
I didn't realise how stable the original wasn't until I actually did this.
Yeah.
I think San Andreas had learnt a lot of things, but GTA 3 and Vice City weren't rock solid at all. Like, I mean, look at that dipped to 24.
Original
here we go,
open world
mate.
games, right? Yeah.
Yeah. GTA 3, and look at that. Just style. Like, everything. I just love the new kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, because it still looks like GTA 3, right? Like,
it does.
It's not... They've not gone for, like, the GTA 5 more realistic style. It still looks stylish in an almost comic book way that GTA on the PS2 did.
Yeah, and like Vice City is fantastic, but look, you can see how much, like, for one, it's no longer 4:3, it's 16:9, which I completely forgot. And the characters just look great, like you say, they almost look kind of like comic book style.
Yeah, the motion blur on the old one is very weird. Like
Yeah, well, I mean, that's probably the frame rate and stuff like that. But we'll see a lot more. But I've done loads of cutscenes. I've done loads of side-by-sides. I've done a mix of everything that I can. I've done gameplay next to each other. But obviously, I love a good swipe like this.
Yeah.
And as you can see, like, the environment just pops now. Obviously, it's been 20 years. But I feel like they've done a really good job, personally.
Yeah, I mean, there's different ways they could have done it. They could have completely remade it from the ground up with a different visual style, but what they've done, I think, really works. Like, if you just look at it, the new version of GTA 3, it still looks like GTA 3. And it's only when you put them side by side that you see how much of a step up it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And just the reflections on the car and things like that. Obviously, everything we're using here, unless I say, is Fidelity mode. Just because I wanted to, I don't know, make it kind of fair, but it's never going to be fair.
Yeah.
Instead of using the 60. But yeah, like, just the reflections on the car, like, you can see lights and stuff in the car. And just, they've done the scenes shot for shot as well, pretty much. So, like, you can see, like, what they've done to the environment, which is, like, obviously a lot because it's a 20-year-old game. But, like, just things like the rain as well just make it a lot more atmospheric. Like, it's really kind of powerful in that shot. Whereas
there's a lot of modern lighting in there as well, isn't there? Like, it looks really nice in the dark, especially. I think the nighttime shots normally aren't the more impressive ones, but here I'm like, oh no, those look great with the rain and the headlamps and stuff.
Yeah, and obviously we love a good bush, Matt. And just look at the trees. It's not like they've just skinned trees; they've pretty much made new trees. Which is great. And yeah, this is the original versus the definitive. And what we're going to do is, like, this is the new kind of art style for the character. This is obviously Claude. But what I'm also going to do, what we have done is performance and fidelity. And I'll be honest, I can't really pick the two apart. And I've gone through a few scenes. So absolutely play it on performance. I mean, most people do in our comments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this time, there's no question. It's performance over fidelity.
Yeah.
Every single day of the week.
You've got to imagine performance is hitting very close to 4K, if not 4K most of the time anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it is a 20-year-old game that they've kind of remastered. So, you would have thought that, the two would have been pretty much... I don't know why they've done them, to be honest. I feel like performance is that much of a better mode over fidelity that I can't even see why you'd pick fidelity.
Yeah,
maybe there's stuff later on in the game, I don't know. But obviously, from what my experience is, in all three games.
Yeah, the character models are a little bit odd, aren't they? Some of them seem really good, like, new versions. Some of them look a little bit off. Like,
so this is Vice City.
Yeah.
So you can see
this looks better, I think.
Yes, I feel like they've almost just reskinned the old character models. Which is no issue. It's a remaster. This isn't a remake.
Yeah.
And in doing that, obviously Vice City had better character models, and then San Andreas had better character models. So as you see, as we walk through the versions, they almost go from super comic book to less comic book. But,
yeah. Well, I feel like there's almost less of a difference because I think they leaned in more to that stylized look anyway in Vice City and San Andreas. So I think there's like less of a difference between that and the new version. GTA 3 is a bit more strange, but I mean, is this performance and fidelity again?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and as you can see, there's a bit of flickering in both versions, but like there is, I can't really see a difference. Like I'm looking.
Fidelity's a tiny little bit more stable close up. I think there's a tiny little bit more flickering on the bush near us on the left, but again, you're talking, minor stuff. So yeah, it seems like fidelity is the way to go.
No, performance, Matt. Performance.
That is 100% what I meant. Well done,
Dan. Yeah, I
know.
know. But look at the colours in that, and just the reflections as well. And obviously, we go back to another cutscene, and this is one of my kind of favourite cutscenes in the game. Also, it looks great in the remaster. Like, I really love Tommy Vercetti's new kind of look.
Yeah, they've really nailed his character model, haven't they? Like, love the big mobile phone as well. Great stuff.
It's fantastic. And also with Ray Liotta as well. Like, it just really suits the character now, I feel.
Yeah.
That you've got the Ray Liotta, like, obviously sounding from all the gangster movies, but then the look as well. It's like this comic book mafia film kind of thing. And this is one of my favourite shots out the entire lot. Like, yeah, it's gorgeous, mate.
That's lovely.
Like, obviously, it's going to look miles better, but just something about that shot in terms of the colours. And I feel like the colours in the Definitive Edition version, they just pop a lot more. Like, they've almost kind of doubled down on the colours.
Yeah, they're less muted than they were in the original, and you've got that really nice, especially with the trees are there and the grass and stuff like that. It offers a lot of depth that wasn't there before, and that painting is lovely.
It is, right? Do you know what I mean? Just the little things like that as well. And there's things like, if you go back and watch this video and you're looking in the background of cutscenes, like you'll see one, like Tommy Vercetti's got some like tissues next to his bed and things like that, and there's like a poster in the mob room with like a guy on a butcher's hook and things like that. Like, but that room is just like incredible. Like, and here we go. We've got a bit of a car scene, so obviously everything looks like super polished. Like,
nice. Yeah.
There is one thing. Scenes seem to be a little bit darker.
Yeah, you can definitely see that there.
You see it more in San Andreas when we flip to that in a minute. But there's just... I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, but, like... Yeah,
do you think there's sort of more contrast between, like, they're going, like, really bright colours and really sort of darks, where the original was a little bit washed out? It sort of blended the two a little bit more, whereas there's more of a contrast between light and dark in the new ones, which is just sort of, how modern games look these days compared to...
Yeah, because that's the exact same time. But obviously, and this, look, but they've got this lovely stylized sky in the new version. They're like, do you know what I mean? That's not black anymore. It's Vice City kind of pinks with that nice kind of orange hue. So, like, big fan of the way that they've styled this out in Vice City especially.
Yeah, and Vice City's cutscenes look like the original, but they also look very, like, modern. They match the sort of the tone of the game, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. Like, the darkness thing I was talking about is more apparent when we move across to San Andreas, which this first wipe, I absolutely adore it. I mean, that just feels like they've completely remade that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's lovely. Like, especially the buildings and stuff like that. Especially when San Andreas had more sort of texture to its buildings anyway. Especially GTA 3 is a lot of square buildings and stuff. This had a lot more going for it, especially around Grove Street, and that was just lovely. And like crisp backgrounds there. Yeah,
the backgrounds, especially in the cutscenes as well, you'll notice now. But I'm glad that they got rid of that kind of heat hue, like the heat waves, like to show how hot it is. Like you'll see it in the next cutscene especially, and I feel like it just kind of takes a little bit away from the cutscene, but just the sun, the environments, like the reflection in the car there that you didn't have before, just little things like that. And when there's a great shot now, and you see the environment just absolutely populate, which is like I love these games to pieces, and now they've just absolutely just brought them to life again.
Okay, I'm waiting for the swipe.
And look at the skyscrapers as well. Like just the swipes are just fantastic in this. I adored doing the Mass Effect video, but this one I think I adored even more. And as you can see, I can't really tell the difference. Just a slight different time of day. That's it. Other than that, like, you'd be hard pressed to say if I did like what's the taste test basically, and just took away all the labels. I think you'd be hard pressed to point out which is which.
Yeah,
look at that as well. The 10 green bottles.
The draw distance as well, like in the background, doesn't just stop at the bridge.
No, and you can read the sign as well.
yeah, that's always that's a nice touch, isn't it? And okay, so we've got the buildings.
Right, and then look at that. I love it.
I tell you what, I love the sky in the San Andreas remaster. Like, they've really... You say they've gotten rid of like the haze lines and stuff, but it still feels hazy and hot and sort of like that late day, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's absolutely perfect. No, I think they've absolutely nailed that. These look really good. This
is one of my favourite remasters that I've done, to be honest. Because watch this. Now, this is like... It's like you're playing... It is almost bordering on remake territory.
Yeah. There's definitely moments in here. Yeah, this San Andreas, it feels like the further we've gone up the games, the bigger the jump, and it's almost like there's more to remake and more to remaster, isn't there? Like,
absolutely, 100%.
The world's got more defined but on PS2 it started to, it's more blurry. And now they've gone, no, we're just going to build this from the ground up. And I'm very, very impressed with these. I mean, performance not hitting 30 and not hitting 60 constantly seems a bit strange for these. Seems like a fairly simple game. Obviously, we're sorry, go on, Dan.
No, I would say that 95% of the time it's a solid 30 on fidelity and a solid 60 on performance. But I did want to point out that it can dip as low as 45, but it's in a very small window kind of opportunity, I guess, like the 5% kind of window. But like, look at this as well. Like, do you see the kind of the hue and the heat that you can just see emanating? And look at the grass. Like the grass. Like if you can't obviously do it, Matt, but if somebody at home wants to skip back slightly, and also, Matt, just a bit of silence for this, the infamous scene. You ready for it?
Oh shit! Here we go again.
Love it.
Amazing.
And I had to get that in just to finish it, but mate,
because here we do go again, right? Like, we're all going to be jumping in.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess I will mention that the one definitive thing about this isn't the fact that the music is identical. There's a couple of missing songs, so that might disappoint some people. But visually and performance-wise, absolutely fantastic job from Grove Street Games. As we just went past Grove Street. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Bye.
Bye.